We are live this Friday night, June 19th, 2009. Man, the summer is just flying by. Last night I had 3 guests on, actually 4 guests on, but 3 full hours of guests. Didn't really get to hit up a lot of the news that I wanted to. Briefly mention that the CIA is going to openly be recruiting out-of-work Wall Street bankers. Let me elaborate on this for this first little 4-minute segment here. Why do they want to do that? Well, as they create a new bank of the world, in other words, give the Federal Reserve all of the regulatory power, taking it out of any third-party hands, they want insiders in these companies and banks that they don't necessarily trust or don't think that they're going to have full control over. So how can they do that without really raising suspicion? Well, they'll have them as intelligence operatives. These guys will never actually receive a government check, kind of like Perkins, the economic hitman. Now, what does Perkins say? Well, I never received a government check. I was recruited by the CIA. I was interviewed by them, but I worked for a private company. And that's what these people will do. They will report to their handlers. They will be outside of government. And while the Federal Reserve regulates everyone and themselves, they're going to go after the smaller banks that can't defend themselves, the ones that they feel are gypping them or not paying off their cartel, wages. And they'll have insiders all over the place. This coincides with another story I had printed out. I don't have it next to me. I must have left it in my office, but we're going to go over this one as well. MI5 recruiting teachers. That's right. It's going to be everywhere. Talk about a spy society. MI5 to recruit school teachers. So... there it is right there. Thank you, man. Teachers urged to join MI5. MI5 is attempting to recruit teachers as spies in a new recruitment drive. The post for an operational intelligence officer. Operational intelligence officers in your kid's classroom. Why do they want that? Well, they want to know what teachers might be teaching subversive material. And they want to hear about the kids' home lives. They want to know who the enemies are everywhere. They want a surveillance state manned by human infrastructure as well. They have the technology infrastructure in place, but they don't have the human intelligence they so desperately need worldwide. And this is worldwide. This is globalism. We just hit on the United States CIA. We're hitting on MI5 out of the UK. And off the register, the EU says it wants to control the internet through global government. So we've got the EU. We just talked about the CIA in the United States. We just talked about the MI5 in the UK. Let's talk about Canada. Now, we talked about that adapting to the New World Order, conference where all these political and corporate bigwigs got together. Well, I also mentioned how it was sponsored by some of the bigger media posts out there as well, and one of them is the National Post. Well, the National Post did 2 separate articles through Diane Francis, who must have attended these conferences because she refers to them in the article. And what are they entitled? Obama and the New World Order Part 1. And we'll scroll down a little bit because I want people to see the graphic. Now, what graphic are they showing? They're showing the graphic of the World Trade Center. Guess what? This has nothing to do with terrorism. This has everything to do with global government. It never, ever, ever mentions the attacks on the World Trade Center. That's supposed to be a disaster-type metaphor for this thing. So they can promote, and these are quotes out of the thing, a new financial architecture involving regulation must be created to fill the oversight vacuum in financial services that contributed mightily to the crisis. IMF Managing Director Dominique Strauss-Kahn noted last week. The IMF, they're the ones that are benefiting from this. She actually calls for draconian steps needed to avert another firebombing. And I guess the firebombing must be the World Trade Center attack? I mean, this is psychological warfare on another level, on a global level. We'll be back after this. It's the Infowarrior with Jason Bermas taking your calls, 866-582-9933.